Hi, I'm Chuck Lowry, Director of Sales and Marketing at Incisive Legal Intelligence, and I'm here at LegalTech at the New York Hilton with Mark Medice from the Hildebrand Consultant Group, and we're talking about a series of opportunities and problems and trends that face the legal field as we move from what has been a fairly prosperous 2008 into what everyone suspects is going to be a fairly problematical 2009. And one of the things, since of course Hildebrand and all the major consultants deal both with law firms and with in-house legal departments, I wanted to talk to Mark a little bit about the financial pressures on in-house departments. I mean, in-house departments, let's face it, are arms of corporate America.
Sure.
And we know what kind of condition corporate America in large swaths is in. And I just thought I would see what thoughts you had about the financial pressures that face internal in-house law departments and how they might affect the relationship with the law firms.
Absolutely. Well, I think there's a lot of ways to begin or commence that discussion, Chuck, and one way is by looking at rates and rate growth, and that really represents the relationship between law firms and their ability to have pricing power. And in our research, one of the things that was somewhat of an anomaly, but something we've been seeing for a long time, is that firms have been able to raise rates somewhat without a whole lot of pushback from their clients over recent years. And I think 2009 may tell quite a different story for that. And what may ultimately, or what has perhaps ultimately pushed this issue to the forefront is the fact that I think if you look at the breakdown between the profitability of law firms and the corporate departments or the corporations, I think corporations are in worse shape than law firms. In other words, last year we saw financial institutions almost liquidate, or in some instances indeed liquidate.
Yeah.
Law firms were complaining because their profits were down by 15%. I think Lehman Brothers would relish the opportunity to have had that scenario instead of what ultimately happened to them. So I think corporations are in a much tighter pinch than they have been for some time, and I do believe that now that relationship and that linkage, along with a couple of what I would call facilitating mechanisms, will really accelerate some of those things. What are some of those things? Electronic billing. So the ability for corporate departments to have a much more precise, up-to-the-moment insight about what those spending patterns are, what the comparable law firms can offer in terms of cost to value and the outstanding legal work, and so on. So I think corporate departments always kind of look for getting the right outcome, but I think there's going to be a much stronger push thematically for them to also have a much better investment or return on investment model around that positive outcome that they're looking at.
And what is your anecdotal experience with how in-house law firms are doing? Are they losing attorneys? Are they picking up attorneys in anticipation of bringing more work in-house? Are levels of administrative support and technological investment being affected? How happy are in-house law departments?
Right. Well, I'm not an expert on in-house law departments, but I can at least speak with some of the themes. And I think what I would anticipate will occur in in-house departments is, in fact, where it strategically works for corporate law departments to bring in-house litigation teams instead of using outside law firms. I think they'll accelerate that. I think they'll use technologies to increase the productivity of the staff as well as the leveraging of their outside counsel. I've spent a number of years in different parts of my career where I've connected outside counsel and in-house counsel together with extranets and so forth. And so I think we're going to see cost effectives and cost productivity elements driven through technology mechanisms as well as just smarter ways to configure the composition of the legal department.
Of course, the one thing that will not change is that in-house law departments and law firms desperately need one another.
Yes.
And I guess they will find some way. Because the way that law firms are structured, though, with the way their finances are structured, it's I suppose axiomatic that anything that comes off the top line, especially in terms of billables and the inability to raise billing rates, is going to have a multiplied effect on the bottom line.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Well, this has been Mark Medice with Chuck Lowry, Mark from Hildebrand Consultants, and I from Incisive Legal Intelligence. We've done a couple little sessions on trends and problems and opportunities in the legal profession facing us in 2009. Thanks for listening.